Hey guys, what's going on? It's Cody Steck. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. We are here in Draper overlooking the valley. In this video, we're going to be talking about what's going on right over here in this big empty field. It's a little bit hard to see from here, but I mean, look at the epic view. It does extend down past this building here. You can see behind me, this is over 600 acres where the old state prison was. They actually tore this down about a year, 2 years ago, and they're going to be developing it. Now, this is a very special, interesting project because this whole piece of land is actually owned by the state. So they're developing it in conjunction with the state, with the city, with the county, and they basically own the whole entire parcel. So they're able to develop it in their own certain way without any private developer saying, no, we want to do this or we want to do that. So we're going to talk about what is exactly going on here. We're going to jump in my office and talk a little bit more about this project and what is coming here to the heart of Draper. This is going to be a very special project, and this is going to add a ton of value to the houses that are around this area here. In fact, I think this is going to be one of the biggest developments. They're going to have industrial, commercial, housing, parks, walkways. I mean, they're going to have just about everything here in this this piece of land here behind me, and it's going to add a ton of value to the surrounding areas here in this Sandy Draper area, even South Jordan, Bluffdale. It's going to be massive. So let's go into the office and talk a little bit more about that. As we do, guys, as a reminder, really quick, if you're looking at moving here from out of state, or you already live here and you want to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, please reach out to me. My information is here on the screen. I'd love to hear from you. And with that said, let's jump in and talk a little bit more about what's going on here. All right, guys, what's going on? So we're back in the office. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on over here at the point. This is over 600 acres, like I mentioned, of available space that's going to be developed into commercial, residential, office, parks, trails, restaurants. There's going to be a little bit of everything here in this spot. As I mentioned already, it's a little bit of a unique community because it is fully owned by the state of Utah. And so they can control basically everything that's going in there without any private landowners or different, entities that are going to say, hey, no, we can do this or do that, or restrict what's going to be done there. So we're jumping to my screen here. I'm going to show you exactly where this is at. We'll take a look at a couple of different pages here. This is the full set of plans. This is over 536 pages of information here. We're not going to go through all of that, don't worry, but I do want to kind of just highlight a couple points so you can get a better understanding of what is going in here at this community, because it is going to impact the south end of Salt Lake County substantially over the next 5 to 10 years. All right, guys, so here's the development. This is the point. As I mentioned, this is here in Draper. This is on the south end of Salt Lake County. Over here on the east side, you've got the Wasatch Mountains. Your ski resorts are up here. Downtown Salt Lake City is right here. And then you have the Acre Mountains over here on the west side. So this is sitting in a very, very central area to basically the metro Salt Lake area. So you can see some measurements here of where this is exactly located, but this kind of gives you an overview of what this is going to look like. Now we're going to come back to this page here. I'm actually going to scroll down here and just show you what the overall development looks like. So they're going to have a number of different districts. It looks like maybe 6 different districts for this development. They're going to have the hub, which is here in the middle, and then they have these other districts around it. So they have Canal, Wasatch, also Wasatch here, the Ridge, and then the River District. So this is kind of what the overall view is going to look like. They are going to have this trail that goes right through the middle of it. They're calling it the River to Range Trail. So this is the Jordan River that goes right here, and then it's going to kind of come over here and connect, actually go over I-15 and then connect into what they call the range over here. Now this is like the DMV. There's a liquor store right here. So I don't know exactly, there are some like smaller trails right here, but I'm not exactly sure if there's plans for additional trails or something over here, but you will be able to kind of, walk and go through this whole entire middle section, which will be kind of cool. They do have this diagram right here. So that's what that's going to look like. Let's scroll down a little bit here. They're talking about water flow. The design is to have everything within a 15-minute walk or less. So they're basically putting everything here right in the middle. You can see they've got, a whole bunch of different things, parks, outdoor amenities, civic events, innovation forums. I mean, they've got listed pretty much everything here. So it'll be interesting to see how this comes together. They are going to have the mixed use core kind of right here in the middle. This is probably where most people will spend most of their time. They're going to have some institutional stuff down here. They have like a couple educational buildings that apparently are going in here. They're going to have some research and development, probably somewhat similar, to education related, I would assume. And then they're going to have some office space over here on the east side. And then they've got residential over here on the west side. Now there is some residential kind of mixed in throughout here. which will be kind of cool. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. We're going to go down to page number, we actually want to go down to number 19 now. They are going to have a gold standard bus rapid transit that kind of goes right through the middle of this. So they're going to have some buses that goes right through the heart of this, and then we'll connect to the Draper front runner station up here, and then it will also go down into the Lehigh area. So that'll provide a good, public transit, opportunity, because that is something that is quite lacking here in Utah. I think that'll be, probably fairly good for people who live in this area or are commuting to downtown or to Murray or to Davis County. But for the most part, this is really only going to be accessible or usable for the people who live and work in this particular area. So we'll have to kind of watch that. They are going to have some local, they call it micro mobility network circulators here. This is kind of like a little trolley, I guess, if you will, but it's going to go just inside of the area. I imagine this will mostly be for people who work here and live here. They don't have to drive somewhere. They can just kind of hop on this thing and then get to the other side in, a couple of minutes to be able to go to work or wherever they need to go. So that's gonna be pretty cool. I'll just kind of go through some of these pages here. In the hub, you can see all right here on the left-hand side in the corner, they've got these different districts highlighted. So this one's going to be kind of the main area. They're going to have a big plaza. They'll probably do some, maybe some concerts there, farmers market, kind of a mixture of things like that. They are going to have some parks around the area as well. This is one of the bigger parks. They're calling it the Delta and Community Park. Looks like there may be some bridges and some fishing, a pond, a lake. This is mostly going to be used for stormwater management as well. So there's kind of an ecological part of that to it as well. They have the Central Park right here, like we just talked about. They're going to have a pedestrian priority zone. So this is going to be, mostly walking access, which will be kind of cool. I think that's going to be great if you live in the area. I think if you live outside of the area, you're probably going to have to park, somewhere that's quite a bit a ways away and then walk over to these areas, which I guess is just the way that it goes with something like this. They do have bike and pedestrian linkages throughout. You can see the maps here kind of going throughout the whole area, which will be cool. And if we scroll down a little bit further, we are going to go to the overall plan. So this is kind of just an overview of some of these different areas that they have. They've got the River to Range Park over here on the northwest side, Central Park. They're going to have a connection over I-15 like we talked about. And then they have some other smaller parks that are not labeled in here, but have, they do have some green area. So you can see it actually looks like there's quite a bit of green area. It'll be interesting to see how much this actually, pops up and shows once it's been completed. This is from the southeast. So this would be like if you're standing up on, the hill in Draper, where I was basically kind of standing right over here. And this would be looking over into the development. So that'll be interesting. This is from the northwest. We're going to come down just a little bit further. This is from the southwest. So you have Bangerter Highway over here, I-15's over here. And you can see just these different roads and trails that kind of connect through the area. So this actually looks really, really cool to me. We're going to go down here to this page right here. Showing kind of how everything comes together around this central area. I actually want to take a look at this one. So let's talk about what's actually going in this area. So in the hub, they're going to have mixed use focus. And I guess I should maybe start here. They have 7 distinct districts. They're going to have 16,200,000 square feet of gross floor area and roughly 7,400 residential units. So starting over here in the West River District, they're going to have about 1,300 units here. They're going to have 1,400 units in the North River District and then about 1,200 here. So most of the housing units will be on this west side, and then they are going to have some other units that are kind of spread throughout here. Mostly everything out here is going to be maybe a little bit of single family. The map the legend they gave us wasn't very clear to read, but it looks like maybe a couple single family homes, mostly townhomes and kind of higher density. And then as you move closer into this center area, it's going to be much more high density condos, apartments, studios, things like that. So I actually think this would be kind of cool, especially if you live or work in the area. I mean, this could be a really cool downtown hub. That's something that Utah is missing for sure. Unless you live downtown Salt Lake, there's not a whole lot of places that are actually walkable that have kind of everything you need all in one spot where you can get around without a car, either just on foot or on a bike or something like that. So I think this is actually going to be really pretty cool. For the people who are living in this area. And I also think it's going to push home values for a lot of the surrounding areas as well. As I mentioned, guys, earlier in the video, if you're looking at making a move here or you already live here and you want to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, please reach out to me, call me, text me, or email. My information will be here on the screen. I love hearing from you guys. I'd love to chat with you and talk a little bit more about what we can do to make your dream a reality, whether you want to buy something or sell a home here in the area. I'd love to help, so please reach out to me. As we move along here, I'm going to show you a couple more things here. They do have the transit-oriented development, which we talked about. Sorry, I actually want to cover this. So again, up here, they're going to have mostly flex office here on the north end. The ridge is going to be more institutional, educational focused. And then they are going to have office over here, innovation office focus is what they're calling it. So this is roughly 122 acres with 3.5 million square feet of space. Taking a look at this is a better overview of kind of the general land use. So again, like I mentioned, mostly residential over here on this west side. They will have a school there. They'll have at least 1 or 2 churches, probably LDS church, to be honest. They are going to have, commercial spread throughout this whole area, a little bit of retail right here in the center. This will be like some shopping, kind of maybe like an outdoor mall or something. I think it'll be fairly small. They will have, some options, but nothing too massive right there. Neighborhood retail, maybe like a convenience store right over here. And then again, mostly commercial space here, office, institutional, educational stuff. This is a breakdown. If you want to take a look at this a little bit further, this shows you exactly what's going in here. So they have, this all broken down by how big the units are, for the houses, whether it's single family, townhomes, condos, apartments, whatever they have, they've got all that broken down right here. So this is a really cool, exciting development. I'm really excited to see kind of what goes in here. It's going to be very interesting to see how this comes together over the next couple of years. They are putting in the infrastructure as we speak. They're going to continue to do that over the next year or so, and they're supposed to go vertical sometime in 2026. But this whole project is going to take at least 7 to 10 years to be fully built out. So there's going to be a lot of growth, a lot of development over the coming years, and it'll be super exciting to see how this comes together. So again, thank you so much for watching. If I can help you in any way, reach out. And with that said, we'll catch you in the next video.